Picture this. For 3 days, they barely respond. You tell yourself you are done checking your phone. You put it face down and try to focus on work. Then, late at night, the screen lights up. "I've been thinking about you." Your body changes before your mind catches up. The tension in your chest loosens. Hope returns. The previous silence almost feels erased. And here is the question that changes everything. Are you attached to this person, or to the relief you feel whenever they come back? Sometimes mixed signals feel powerful because uncertainty keeps your nervous system waiting for reassurance. That is the illusion. You think intensity proves the relationship is special. But intensity and intimacy are not the same thing. At first, the pattern may feel exciting. A warm message after distance, a promise about the future, followed by silence when you ask what that future means. Soon, you stop living the relationship and start monitoring it. You check whether your message was read. You study small changes in tone. You reread old conversations, looking for evidence that the connection is still real. You delay plans in case they reach out. You notice when they are online. You wonder why they can respond to others but not to you. A normal workday can be emotionally derailed by one unanswered message. Your body joins the pattern. Your shoulders tighten. Your breathing becomes shallow. You struggle to concentrate. At night, your mind constructs explanations for a silence you cannot control. The betrayal is not only that they are inconsistent, it is that you gradually surrender your inner stability to remain available for their return. At some point, you realize you are no longer enjoying the connection. You are managing the anxiety it creates. Why would you remain attached to something that repeatedly removes your peace? Sometimes the answer begins long before this person entered your life. You may have learned that closeness was unpredictable. Warmth arrived when you performed well. Approval disappeared when you disappointed someone. Love may not have been absent, but it may have felt conditional. Not every painful relationship comes from childhood, but early emotional learning can influence what later feels familiar. If affection once had to be earned, withdrawal may activate an old response. Become more patient. Become more impressive. Ask for less. Do not upset them. Find a way to restore the connection. Stable affection can feel strangely unfamiliar. Inconsistency, although painful, may feel psychologically recognizable. Consider Daniel. His father was affectionate when he was proud of him, but emotionally distant whenever Daniel failed. Years later, Daniel is drawn to partners who alternate between warmth and withdrawal. Whenever affection disappears, he feels compelled to prove that he is still worth choosing. He believes he is fighting for the relationship, but part of him is trying to repair an older wound. He is not only responding to the person in front of him, he is responding to every earlier moment when love felt temporary. This is where intermittent reinforcement matters. Intermittent reinforcement occurs when a reward arrives unpredictably, causing you to keep paying attention and trying again. The cycle is simple. They offer warmth, you feel chosen, they withdraw. Anxiety rises. Your mind searches for explanations. You replay conversations and wonder what changed. You become more careful, more available, or more willing to compromise. Then they return, and the relief feels enormous. That relief strengthens the pursuit. The deeper truth is that you may not be primarily attached to the affection itself. You may be attached to the change in your emotional state that happens when they return. The same person becomes associated with two experiences. They create the distress, then they temporarily end it. That can make one affectionate message feel more powerful than a week of steady care from someone else. Their return does not merely make you happy. It removes the anxiety their absence created, and your nervous system begins learning that relief comes from them. There may be another hidden layer. Pursuing someone emotionally unavailable can protect you from full intimacy. Longing feels vulnerable, but it does not require the same exposure as being consistently known. Stable love asks you to communicate clearly, to receive care, to set boundaries, to reveal needs that another person may or may not meet. It asks you to remain emotionally present when there is no chase to distract you. Sometimes pursuit is not only a search for closeness, it is also a way of avoiding it. The emotional high may not be love becoming stronger. It may be anxiety briefly disappearing. Once this cycle takes hold, it begins leaving recognizable signs. Affection feels strongest after withdrawal. Silence produces more anxiety than the relationship produces security. You repeatedly explain away inconsistency. You postpone boundaries because clarity might end the connection. You focus on who the person could become instead of how they consistently behave. Promises carry more weight than patterns, and stable interest from someone else may feel strangely flat. That last sign matters. When your nervous system becomes accustomed to uncertainty, calm can feel like boredom. You may mistake the absence of anxiety for the absence of chemistry. Consider Maya. She had been talking to someone for 6 months. They shared private fears, spoke late into the night, and occasionally spent entire weekends together. But they never made plans far ahead. Whenever Maya asked what they were building, she received affection and reassurance, but no clear answer. She could describe hundreds of meaningful moments. She could not clearly describe the relationship itself. Healthy closeness gradually increases security. Mixed signals repeatedly create anxiety, then sell relief back to you. Modern dating can keep this pattern alive for a long time. You can have constant access without genuine commitment. A reaction to your story can create hope without effort. A late-night message can feel intimate while avoiding daytime responsibility. Someone can watch everything you post while refusing to have an honest conversation with you. Ambiguity is often presented as independence. Asking for clarity can feel like pressure. Caring deeply can feel like losing status. People may keep several emotional possibilities open at once, offering just enough attention to prevent complete detachment. And loneliness raises the stakes. When genuine connection feels scarce, inconsistent attention can seem too valuable to risk losing. But access is not intimacy. Attention is not investment. An occasional tenderness is not the same as a relationship capable of carrying emotional responsibility. Over time, you begin reducing yourself to preserve the connection. You ask for less. You pretend not to care. You accept vague explanations. You hide disappointment so you will not appear difficult. You may sleep badly, lose focus, withdraw from friends, or begin believing that your needs are the problem. The collapse is usually quiet. You do not lose yourself in one dramatic moment. You lose yourself through small negotiations. I can wait. I do not need much. They are going through a difficult period. Maybe next week will be different. You become grateful for minimal effort because the alternative feels like losing everything. Eventually, you realize that you have spent so much energy trying not to lose them that you stop noticing what you were losing in yourself. You were protecting the possibility of the relationship at the expense of your actual well-being. The hardest truth is often simple. You may be attached to possibility more than reciprocity. You may be grieving the future you imagined, not the relationship you actually had. A few extraordinary conversations can become the foundation for an entire imagined life. Rare moments of closeness can outweigh months of uncertainty, but another person's inconsistency cannot be transformed into security through patience alone. You cannot love someone into readiness. You cannot explain your needs perfectly enough to create an emotional capacity they do not have. And clarity does not come only from what someone says. It also comes from the pattern their behavior repeatedly creates. Letting go means grieving two things: the person who exists and the future you constructed around their potential. That grief is real, but grief is not proof that staying is healthy. The way out is not to become cold. It is to replace interpretation with observation. Begin by creating a behavior record for 7 to 14 days. Write down only what actually happens. Who initiates contact? Are plans made and kept? Do affectionate words lead to consistent behavior? What happens after moments of intimacy? Can concerns be discussed directly? Does the relationship become clearer over time or more confusing? Do not write. They are probably afraid. Do not write. They must be overwhelmed. Record behavior, not explanation. Next, define your minimum requirements. Choose 3 to 5 conditions necessary for continued emotional investment. Regular communication, mutual initiation, respect for boundaries, clarity about intentions, dependable follow-through. These are not demands for perfection. They are standards for participation. Then have one direct conversation. Say what you are looking for. Describe the pattern that has been difficult. Explain what consistency would look like in practice. Then observe what happens afterward. Do not evaluate the relationship based on the most emotional conversation. Evaluate it based on what changes over time. Affectionate language may temporarily calm you, but reassurance is not the same as behavioral change. When the pattern remains unchanged, reduce the reinforcement. Mute or archive the conversation. Remove notifications. Stop monitoring social media. Avoid rereading old messages. Delay impulsive replies. This is not punishment. It gives your nervous system fewer opportunities to be repeatedly activated. Then separate reality from fantasy. Create 2 columns. In the first, write, "What consistently happened." In the second, write, "What I hoped would happen." Look honestly at the distance between them. You may discover that much of your attachment was built around anticipation rather than experience. Finally, rebuild emotional regulation elsewhere. Return to sleep. Exercise. Trusted friendships. Meaningful work that does not become another form of avoidance. Therapy. When attachment patterns repeatedly interfere with daily functioning, choose activities that do not involve waiting for contact. The goal is not to stop caring overnight. The goal is to stop using one person as your primary source of emotional relief. In future relationships, let consistency develop before emotional investment accelerates. Watch behavior across several weeks. Notice whether calm feels boring only because unpredictability feels familiar. Choose reciprocity before fantasy. The question is no longer, how do I make them choose me? It becomes, does this relationship consistently meet the conditions required for me to keep choosing it? Mixed signals feel powerful because they keep hope and anxiety alive at the same time. But intensity is not intimacy. Real connection may contain fear, conflict, and uncertainty. Yet it should not repeatedly require you to exchange your peace for brief moments of reassurance. The real measure of love is not how deeply you miss someone when they disappear. It is whether you can remain emotionally intact when they are present.